All right, next one's from your boy, our favorite mailbag contributor, Mike Durbin.
Wait, you didn't kind of answer the question, though. Do you think that makes Tony look bad, that Punk's kind of pulling his strings, if that's the insinuation?
Well, how do you know it? He is.
Well, that's what the guy's insinuating, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not working on a supposition.
It's a Sean Ross Sapp report. Okay, so I'm not going to treat that as anything factual, right?
Isn't that the guy that had the whole MJF thing wrong? And then got mad at you about it?
Right.
Okay.
Next is from Mike Durbin, the subject is Elvis movie. Glenn, have you seen the Elvis movie yet? There are lots of Las Vegas references and scenes in the movie. Oh, go figure, Durbin.
Wow.
Elvis was like a what do you want to call it? Residency in Vegas for like how many years? You know, I was like, okay, I think you'll enjoy it. I'm just going to pick apart Durbin's email as sentence by sentence here as we're going along because I will enjoy watching a movie that has Vegas references because I live in Vegas. Like I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. Conan, what is your favorite era of Elvis? 50s Elvis, 60s shitty movies Elvis, 68 comeback special Elvis, early 70s peak live performance Elvis, or fat and bloated, pilled up 73, 77 Elvis? So Mike Durbin, he says, P.S. Keep the great work in K100 Talks.
Yeah, bro, those are too many to remember. Like, you know.
He's a complete Elvis mark, and he thinks that you're an Elvis mark. Like, you remember every era of his.
I do remember every era, but I mean, the guy was fucking cool all the way through. I mean,
right. Even when he was fat.
He was, even if he was fat, that doesn't make him uncool. The guy was still, even fat, he was cooler than most.
Right.
You know, he was Elvis, bro. The guy had a magnetism that very few people will ever even understand, you know. Like
there's some iconic names in the history of the world.
Right.
That from our era, you know? Like just like when you just say like Elvis, right. Ronaldo,
bro, to me there was nothing
Trump,
cooler
Jordan,
than Elvis with the mutton chops and the cool 70s oversized Elton John glasses and the cape with all the glitter and the American red, white, and blue cape singing Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, and with a choir behind him with that booming voice and that smile. The guy just had magnetism, you know, he had it. That's all there is to it.
Next is from Timo Pham Tran, subject to selling injuries. Hey guys, thanks for answering my question a few weeks ago about memorabilia collection. I again have a question for Disco and Conan. You guys might have seen the picture going around social media of Vince and Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Pat McAfee sitting together at UFC. Pat McAfee was wearing a neck brace to sell the attack from Baron Corbin at Money in the Bank, which I find hilarious, and also respect him for his investment in the storyline. Disco and Conan, during runs in WCW, did you guys ever have an entry in storyline? Would you even commit to it in public? Thanks again, Tino. If it was that night after the show, and we're going to the bar, sometimes guys would sell. Like they sell because you knew a bunch of marks would be in the bar, and there were still some kind of like a lot of old school guys like Kevin Sullivan, Terry Taylor, stuff. You know, if you weren't selling for the marks right after the show, they would kind of like, you know, that was still looked down upon back then. Like no selling, but so sometimes you would still kind of sell for the fans after the show, if it was like a major injury. But nobody does that today. Nobody. Which is why it was great when I saw Pat McAfee do that on a major, you know, like he's on UFC selling with a neck brace on. You know, how great is that, right?
Yeah, remember when Don Callis did it through the Japanese airport after he took, I think Jericho hit him with the code breaker or something, and he had a neck brace in the wheelchair?
Let me give you a perfect example about how today I'm not a fan of, okay? Bro, they have these pay-per-views, and dude, like, as soon as the pay-per-view is over, they'll do the media scrums, and like Jericho's in there talking about the spots. FTR's talking about spots they did and who came up with the spot and stuff. I'm absolutely not a fan of that. That's like, you know, I just, it's like, what did you guys just do? It's like, we're supposed, like, are you just performers and actors now? And like, that's the way we're going to treat it? Because like, you're going to have a hard time getting fans invested to you if you're not respecting the suspension of disbelief at all. You know, like there's no respect given to the suspension of disbelief in AEW. They just don't. They completely break kayfabe as soon as the show's over, and have these media scrums. And I'm like, I don't know how that's good for business. I think it might actually. I think you could actually point to that as one of the reasons that maybe it does contribute to the fact that they're not growing, that their numbers are kind of stabilized. Do you agree with that, Conan? Is that a possibility?
I just think it satisfies, the fans, appetite for more content, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably monetizing it too. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either.
Right.
So yeah.
Like, what would you do if, like, so who is your big, like, Blue Demon and Dr. Luther, right? Is that the guy's name, Dr. Luther?
Yep.
Or Dr. Who? Not Dr.
Dr.
Luther.
Wagner.
Dr. Wagner, okay? What would you do if, like, the big thing, the big hang and everything, they came back and you guys did the interviews after the match, and Dr. Wagner was talking about how when he got the color, like,
yeah, but
what would the Mexican? Let me ask you a question. What would Mexican fans do if like when Dr. Wagner and Blue Demon had their big blood feud and their big match? It was a Triple Mania, right? It was a big main event.
yeah.
What would the fans do if they, after the match, they were talking about how they went over the spots and who came up with the idea for do this? But what would the fans there do? Like, how would they react?
Yeah,
to
they're
that?
not ready for that conversation.
Right. It's like, you just wouldn't even do it, right? Like, yeah.
Right, because they kind of know, it's almost like they're in along on the game with us. Like, they know it's all contrived, but they don't want to really be told. They're like, we don't want to know.
You're respecting the suspension of disbelief thing.
Right.
You're keeping it real.
Right.
It's like when you don't keep it real, it's like, then you get what it does is when you don't keep it real, you just get a bunch of people. You open it up for you know how the trolls are these days. A bunch of people saying, you guys are fake. You're letting people call you fake. And it's like you don't really want that when you're doing this, It's like you want to kind of keep it real all the time. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all.
In Mexico, Conan, have you ever worn a neck brace in public after, or used crutches or something to sell an injury?
Yep.
Have you?
Yeah. You guys used to go on the news, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Like they put you on the mainstream news there. That's like, imagine going on CNN after Jericho and Eddie Kingston are wrestling, and they're going on CNN afterwards and to cut promos on each other, right? Hey guys, thanks for answering my. This is from Tino Fam Tram selling injuries. Oh no, that's wait. We just did this one. I thought I didn't realize I didn't change it.
Yo, what up? This is Conan, and I host Keeping It 100. My co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!